They're some of the most well-known names in fashion: Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and Alexander McQueen. But tonight, the News 4 I-Team is going to show us why the government has seized thousands of high-end shoes, handbags, and other types of couture contraband. Tisha Thompson traveled to the fashion capital for some answers.
We are in the thick of New York Fashion Week with all of its leather and python. But the News 4 I-Team is going to show you why some of the most high-end designs never even make it to the runway by starting here. Naomi Campbell wearing this feathered creation from Alexander McQueen's 2010 collection. Very few of these $14,000 gowns exist, but the U.S. government has one.
Our biggest thing is to make sure that endangered species don't end up on the shelves at the stores in America.
Naima Aziz is in charge of a team of U.S. Fish and Wildlife inspectors who see what's headed to the runway long before anyone else.
I am paying attention to this exotic leather here.
They work at the Port of New York, sorting through more than 30,000 shipments a year to make sure the python on this $5,000 trench coat came from a sustainable source. It passes inspection, but when they find a problem, it gets added to their growing collection of seizures.
Right here we have a saltwater crocodile briefcase. Here, a little wallet made out of boa constrictor. This is a iguana wallet. This right here is a rock python clutch. And this handbag here is made out of a monitor lizard. A sea turtle wallet, also made out of sea turtle leather. This billfold right here is the most protected species on the table. It's a endangered species.
The News 4 I-Team asked to watch this inspection process after we uncovered a troubling trend the fashion magazines never tell you about. When we visited the government's warehouse of confiscated animal products, we found high-end fashion makes up a large portion of government seizures. Nestled between the polar bear and the tiger heads, a $2,000 Gucci purse made of reticulated python, and that Alexander McQueen gown. It was illegal to import because it's trimmed in caiman, a cousin to the crocodile. Both brands, as well as Yves Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, and Bottega Veneta, are all owned by the luxury conglomerate Kering, which boasts on its website it's one of the greenest companies in the world, with 100% of its skins and furs from sustainable sources. But the News 4 I-Team found the government has intercepted almost 900 Kering items in the last 5 years for problems with fox, alligator, crocodile, and python skins. Based in Paris, Kering told us in a statement it's fully committed to legal and sustainable trade, and none of the species taken by the U.S. government are at particular risk of extinction, and most probably a reflection of paperwork mistakes.
Just because it's on the shelf doesn't mean that this species does not need to be monitored.
Aziz says it's illegal to use endangered animals like the sea turtle in any kind of commercial trade, but under international treaty, you can use some threatened species like alligator or crocodile if you have a permit showing it was farmed or legally trapped in the wild. So those paperwork mistakes can be critical. Take this clutch.
The value of this handbag is $3,500.
It's advertised as crocodile, but the permit she has says it's American alligator.
All the integrity of the wildlife is lost if there is no paper trail that backs it all the way back to origin.
Many of the companies told us they don't want to make these kinds of mistakes because it costs them money. We found LVMH, the largest fashion conglomerate in the world, lost $500,000 when the U.S. government intercepted more than 2,700 items in the last 5 years, more than any other luxury company. It's the parent company to more than 20 luxury brands, including Louis Vuitton, Dior, Bulgari, Givenchy, Marc Jacobs, and De Beers. They're all on the government's list for seizures.
There's an incredible power on the runway here.
Simon Collins is the Dean of Fashion at Parsons, the new school for design.
There was an element of the student body that felt in order to make their collection more luxury, they should add in some fur. And I sadly still see that on the runway.
He says some designers, like Stella McCartney, will only use the fake stuff. And Collins firmly believes it doesn't have to be exotic to be luxurious.
Absolutely not. And indeed, it doesn't even have to be expensive to be luxurious.
Collins says his students can use exotic skins, but are taught to think carefully about what happens when you put pressure on an already threatened species.
That creates a trend which people around the world then follow, and they don't worry so much about it. And that's something which we neither control nor regulate, but we are in some ways responsible for. And I think it's incumbent upon the designers to be aware of that.
If you want to see the complete list of what the government seized from each brand and which animals are protected, go to our website, NBCWashington.com, and click on Investigations. There, we've also created this quiz where you can see how you would do if you were an inspector. Is this Nile crocodile, boa constrictor, or is it reticulated python? Try it out on your computer. You can even try it on your tablet or your cell phone. Tisha Thompson, News 4 I-Team.